Welcome to another VeChain update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server where we post multiple updates a day. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this VeChain video. So in this VeChain video, I actually want to start with Bitcoin dominance. I know, many of you like it, so I'm just gonna talk about it again. And why am I gonna talk about it again? Well, because what's happening here is extremely important and you need to know what's happening here in order to know what might happen on the VeChain chart. So yeah, I'm gonna start talking about the VeChain chart as well, but not right now. First, we'll start with Bitcoin dominance. And what do I want to tell you and what do I want to show you here? Well, as you can see, Bitcoin dominance is actually going up right now. It's testing the bull market support band again. However, Bitcoin dominance only went up like 1%, and we went from being oversold on the 4-hour RSI to now almost being overbought. Now, of course, we are not overbought yet. We still have to go up a bit more, but we are, the RSI went crazy right here, and the Bitcoin dominance chart barely did anything. And this usually is a sign that the price is about to start breaking down. And what do you know, this would make sense right now, considering the fact that it has been almost 48 days since we had a cross on the bull market support band. And if you can remember what I said in my previous videos, in the previous two cycles, the same thing happened. For example, in 2020, we had a cross on the bull market support band right here. We went sideways for about 48 days. We did absolutely nothing. We only tested the bull market support band a couple of times. And then 48 days later, we started the altcoin season and we did the exact same thing in 2016 as well. I have already showed you this multiple times, but I'm going to show you this again because I believe it's very important. So yeah, in 2016, we actually went below the bull market support band. We had a cross on the bull market support band. And we just did what we are doing right now. We went up, we tested the bull market support band multiple times, we got rejected multiple times, and then after we did that, 48 days after we had a cross on the bull market support band, Bitcoin dominance started breaking down, and that triggers the altcoin season. And I believe something like this will happen very soon, because it happened in the previous two cycles as well. Now, there is a chance that Bitcoin dominance continues to do absolutely nothing until January 20th instead of January 11th, like everybody is expecting it to. Now, of course, by everybody, I mean you and me, because, nobody is talking about the Bitcoin dominance chart except a couple of people in the crypto market. But I think it's possible that this chart just goes sideways until January 20th, because that's when the next president will be put into office, and there is a chance that the market just becomes uncertain until then, and then once that happens, that's when we break down. Keep in mind that also happened after the elections. I mean, this is why we got a 6% drop on the Bitcoin dominance chart, so there is a chance that we do the exact same thing again, and if we go sideways until January 20th, that means we will have to wait about 55 days after the cross on the bull market support band. Well, actually no, 57 days after the cross, which is like a week more than what we did in the previous cycle, so it's not going to be the end of the world if we just go sideways until then. But I'm not really expecting that to happen, and honestly, I would not be shocked if we start going down right now, considering the fact that the daily RSI is currently at the moving average, so there is a chance that we get rejected right now, and if we do, I think that's it for Bitcoin dominance. Now, of course, I still believe that it has already topped. I don't think we'll get another top. As you can see, we keep putting in lower highs, so I think this will start going down very soon. And speaking of this, I also want to talk about Ethereum, because what's happening on the Ethereum chart is also important. So Ethereum is currently going up, which is not really unexpected. However, if you look at the Ethereum monthly returns chart, which is this chart right here, Ethereum is already up 10% in January this year. And of course, if you watched my previous videos, this will not shock you, because I did tell you that it's possible for this to happen, especially in a post-halving year. For example, in the previous post-halving year, which was 2021, Ethereum went up about 78% in January, then another 9% in February, and another 35% in March, and another 44% in April. And if you look at the post-halving year before that, which was 2017, we did the exact same thing, although this looked even better. And as you can see, we always went up in January. The only 3 times when we did not go down in January was during the 2019 bear market, during the 2022 bear market, And during 2024, which was not really a bear market, but it wasn't really a bull market either, considering the fact that during this time Bitcoin dominance was going up, so yeah, of course Ethereum did not do that well, but keep in mind this red wick is only minus 0.13%, so can this even be considered a red wick? I mean, I would not really consider this as a red wick, but you know, it's red, so yeah. Now I'm still expecting Ethereum to continue going up until the end of the month, and actually until, let's say, the end of April. I don't know if we will do what we did in 2021 or what we did in 2017. It's hard to say right now. If we do what we did in 2021, then Ethereum should continue going up until April, and then we should get some type of correction in May and June. But if we do what we did in 2017, then Ethereum should go up until July, and then we should get some type of correction in July. So I don't know which cycle we are following. All I know is that we will most likely go up for the first 4 months of the year, and if we do that, then VeChain will obviously also go up during that time. That's what happens during an altcoin season after all. So yeah, I believe Ethereum will be at about $4,500 by the end of January, and it could be at about $10,000 to $15,000 by the end of this year. And if that happens, like I said, VeChain will most likely get to new all-time highs. I don't think it's a question, I think it's pretty much a fact at this point. Now, of course, this is not financial advice, blah blah blah, you should do your own research. I also want to look at the VeChain chart because this is a VeChain video after all, so let me explain what's happening on this chart. Let's go on the daily chart first. So after hitting the bear market low right here, which was in June of 2023, we formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup that formed a first wave move to the upside. Then for the next 6 months, we just did absolutely nothing. We actually went down for about 6 months. This was an ABC structure, and the chart reacted to the support level that I gave you, which is good. And then after that, we started going down in a third wave of this one to set up. Now, of course, the third wave is still ongoing. It's obviously nowhere near close to being done. Of this third wave, we don't even have the first wave yet. We are actually working on the 5 waves of the first wave of the main third wave move to the upside. And I believe we are very close to completing the 5th wave. The 5th wave should put us, let's say, somewhere between about 8.5 cents and maybe even 10 cents, maybe 12 cents. I don't have a clear target for that yet because we don't have a third wave of this one to set up right here, but once we get that third wave, then I will be able to give you a target for the 5th wave of the first wave right here as well. So yeah, things are looking extremely good right now, but keep in mind, if we get another high in the 5th wave right here, that will complete a first wave of the third wave, which means that after that we will need an ABC structure to the downside for a second wave move. But once we get that over with, the third wave should be next, and this will be a third wave of the third wave. Now, let me give you a target for the main third wave right here. My minimum target for that wave is the 200% extension of this one to set up, and that is at about 23 cents, so keep that in mind. Of course, if we could overextend, maybe to the 2.272 extension or the 2618 extension, but don't get your hopes too high. And also, if you bought down here at like 2 cents, I think you would be more than happy to take some profits up here at 20 cents. Now, of course, if you bought during the bear market, then maybe taking some profits at 10 cents or so would not really be the end of the world. Don't forget, you don't need to get too greedy. If you are up like 10x, of course you should take some profits. Now, of course, that's not financial advice. Anyways, so where do I expect VeChain to top, and am I expecting VeChain to get a new all-time high in this cycle? Well, it will most likely get a new all-time high, considering the fact that the minimum target for the third wave is almost at the all-time high. So if we get a 4 and a 5 after the third, I think it's very likely that the 5th wave puts us at like 56 cents or so, maybe even higher. It all depends on how bullish VeChain will be during this altcoin season, so we'll see how bullish it is. I also want to talk about Bitcoin for a split second because what's happening here is also important. So if we go on the 4-hour RSI, as you can see, we are currently overbought, which could mean that Bitcoin might get a correction soon, and we might get to about $82,000 very soon. Now, of course, if we get above this high right here, which is the previous all-time high and is currently at about $108,000, then this will most likely not be an ABC structure. However, if we start getting rejected now, considering the fact that we are overbought on the 4-hour, then this could turn into an ABC structure. And what will happen with the altcoin market if that happens? Well, I don't think anything will happen with the altcoin market if that happens. And why do I believe that? Well, I'm still expecting Bitcoin dominance to go down. So even if Bitcoin goes down right now, I don't think the altcoin market will follow it. I think the altcoin market will actually go up during that time, and trust me, that has happened multiple times throughout the previous cycles. There are times of the cycle where Bitcoin goes down and the altcoins actually go up. Do I have an example for you? Well, actually, I do. Let me show you an example. For example, here, in January of 2021, VeChain went from about 1.6 cents all the way up to about 3.6 cents. Now, you might wonder, what did Bitcoin do during this time? Well, during this time, Bitcoin actually dropped from about $42,000 up here to about $29,000. And I believe this was a pretty deep correction. Let me actually check out how deep it was. So it was a 31% correction, and during that time, the altcoins were actually going up. So I think this is where we are at in the cycle, and this makes sense considering the fact that this happened exactly 4 years ago. So yeah, I'm not expecting the altcoin market to go down right now. I'm actually expecting it to go up no matter what happens with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin continues to go higher, then that's great. But if it gets a correction right now, that's also great, because Bitcoin dominance will most likely start falling. So I think it's only a matter of time until VeChain gets to about 20 cents. And I would not be shocked to see VeChain at 20 cents by the end of, let's say, February of this year, at least judging this by what happened in the previous cycle. So we'll see if we get there or not, and I am going to keep making these updates, and if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of these charts, and if you want access to our daily updates on the Discord server. And yeah, like, subscribe, I will see you in the next one.